We're here today with Mark Labusque, aka the Human Manager. He's a member of mine, along with his family, at Max Results Personal Training Studio. Mark is a corporate speaker and is all about putting human beings first. So we'll get into our topic for today. We thought we'd talk about a little bit about mindset and your bad news filing cabinet. So can you elaborate a little bit more on what you mean when you talk about the bad news filing cabinet, Mark?
Yeah, mate, I can. Thanks for having me on too, and hello to the members on this group. Great thing you guys are doing, by the way, at Max Results. So here's some stuff that really shocked me as I started to delve into this whole thing of human behaviour and why we sort of are like we are. And what I found out through the research was that human beings have between 12.5 and 60,000 individual thoughts or recurring thoughts per day. So I'm sitting here talking to you now, but I'm also thinking about it's something I've got to write. I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for dinner tonight. I'm thinking about when I'm going to be back in front of my clients. So there's all this stuff going on in my mind whilst I'm still here with you. And that's why sometimes, I'm sure this happens with you at home, and, that Rach is talking to you and you've got the controller for the TV and she's like, "Did you hear what I said?" And you're like, "Oh, yeah. But I was thinking about all this other stuff as well." So, there's this thing that goes on.
No, it never happens in my household.
I'm sure it doesn't, mate. I'm sure it doesn't. And here's the really debilitating thing. Because we are a species hardwired to survive. And at the moment, there's a bit of, am I surviving going on?
Yep.
8 out of 10 of those thoughts that we have are actually negative thoughts. So why I talk about a good news and a bad news filing cabinet, I want you to think about this. For those who can remember filing cabinets, it's like you've got an 8-drawer one in your head, and that's full of bad news. And you've got a 2-drawer one in your head that's nowhere near as full as the other one. Even in its 2 drawers, it's not full, because we're always looking for the next bad thing. And I guess what I want people to think about at the moment is, as you're going through and trying to make sense of what's going on, is we do have some more optimistic and glass half full and glass half empty people. We have that. But all in all, we're pretty much hardwired the same. And even the most optimistic people still have moments of madness in the pessimism, as do the pessimists every now and again pop out to be optimistic. So what I'd like people watching this to think about is using a little technique that I've developed, which I call the 2 A's, which whenever you are about to go into a pretty deep thought about something, whether it's negative, usually going to go into negative, what I want you to think about is the 2 A's. First of all is awareness. So just become aware right in that moment. And you say to yourself, all right, I'm capturing this thought. So for me on March the 13th, my diary started to implode. And I'm watching appointments, keynote speaking gigs, all these things disappearing out of the place, programs I'm running. And I'm starting to go into my bad news filing cabinet all the way to, geez, I wonder if I'm going to have my house in 12 months' time if this goes on. There'll be people thinking about that. Now, I just had to become aware then, and my awareness is this useful for you right now, Mark, to go into the fetal position in the corner of the room sucking your thumb? No, it's not. So the second part of the A is adjust. Now, I'm not going to talk about an adjustment that's this big. I'm going to talk about a slight adjustment to go, what would be a more useful thing to do? For me, it was to say I can only control what I can control at the moment, Matt, and that was how I decided to be, and decided to, I guess, take everything on that was going on and go, well, I've still got my health, my family's healthy, I've got a roof over my head at the minute, things are okay. So moving from this craziness of the bad news filing cabinet, be aware and then adjust into something. And that's, I think it's something for the members and for others who are on your online portal at the moment, just to think about is, how often each day am I delving into the bad news filing cabinet? How often am I delving into the good news one? And then the really important one here, mate, is how can I start to become more aware and adjust and start putting more bits of paper into my good news filing cabinet? What do you think?
Look, I think it's great. I think the word that kept ringing in my mind then when you were talking about all of that was perspective. I think perspective helps, so that, I remember at my church that I used to go to, the priest said this one day, and I love this because, obviously people come in with problems all the time. And he said, look, when you've got a problem, what I want you to do is put it up on the windowsill and just take a look at it. Will it be a problem in 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, a week? If the answer is no, it's probably not really a problem and it's just part of life. And I think that's a pretty good way to remove yourself from, the reality of how big a problem it is. Like I tend to think now I've lost a few people that got sick and passed away over the last couple of years. So my perspective's changed on what's really a problem, what's not a problem. But I can still relate to what you're saying about delving into that bad filing cabinet. We had to close our doors on March 23rd. And you think, well, will we recover from this? Will we open? You go to extreme thought processes. And I just think if you can get perspective on stuff, that tends to help. But I'd be interested in your thoughts on that.
Yeah, we'll see what's kicked in there for both you and me on March the 13th and you on March the 23rd was our lizard brain. So we've got these two brains, and more the prehistoric one that is just the one that's always going, shit, what's trying to kill me? What's trying to do harm to me? So what we do in those moments, and I'm sure some people listening now have had these moments, they may be in them still, where they're like, I just have to survive. There's no perspective going on there. They don't see it as a point in time, Matt. They see it, this is it. Whereas what you've talked about then, if we can start to hook into that other part of our brain, the more logical, rational part. For me, I look at it, I'm 53, so I say I've been on the earth for nearly 19,300 days. This is the story I'm telling at the moment to people. It keeps me a bit sane, and I go, this could be 90 days, it could be 180 days of 19,000 days. It's a point in time, and I've gone through bad things in my life before, and I'll go through them again, but there will be good at the other end of this in some form. I may not be able to see that now, but I've got to just trust that there will be something happening. And I guess this is the thing I wanted to leave the members with this time as a challenge to go away and do this, is even if it's on a daily basis or maybe once a week, is I want you to challenge yourself to sit down and literally write out on a piece of paper something you can put into your good news filing cabinet. I always frame it this way, mate. I say, what am I proud of that I've done this week for myself? Or what am I proud of that I've done this week for my family? Or maybe in my workplace in a remote way, or maybe in my community. Start to try and get it from 80-20 to 70-30 or 60-40. Because the more that you reinforce the good things that you're doing, the less you're going to have this other stuff kicking in. So that would be the challenge, mate. I'd put to the group from this little video is maybe once a week, or even if you capture them in the moment, just capture those good news filing cabinet stories and have them somewhere close by so that you can refer to them when the other one's starting to drag you back the other way.
Do you think that really it is mainly just a mindset game?
Yeah, that is, mate, because the challenge with getting a growth mindset is we're hardwired to play in a fixed mindset that's about surviving. So we're actually working against our hardwired instincts. Some people find it easier to do that than others, and it could be a victim of their circumstances, their environment, or whatever it might be, but everyone has a choice to make. What I'm trying to say to people here is, it's like training in your gym, mate. You're trying to train this mindset muscle to say, if I start to regularly write things down that I'm proud of, I'm actually going to become stronger in that area.
And look, and one thing, I've done this in my past, in my own life, when I started to, I'm a very optimistic person now, and I sort of have been through a few hard times in my own life. And I probably, at periods of my time, were going through that bad news filing cabinet on a pretty regular basis. Yeah. And what I did, and people might want to try this at home, it's a really simple one. I used to wear an elastic band. And any time I'd find myself drifting off into thinking about bad stuff from the past or worrying about the future, I'd flick the elastic band and it would bring me back to the present, because the present's all that's really real, I guess. Like the past has been and gone, can't change it. The future, we can't say for sure what's going to happen. So I found that was a really easy way to be able to bring myself back to the present and get a bit more of an even keel if I was, going down that route of thinking negative thoughts too much.
So that's another really simple thing people could use. Just to wrap it up, one of the other reasons I'm enjoying doing these with you is trying to get people to get an understanding that whilst they might be looking outwards and going, I wonder if other people are going through the same sort of stuff that I am, I want people to be really clear about this. regardless of what job we have, what title we have, what suburb we live in, what age we are, the thing that we've got in common is that we're human and we are hardwired in a certain way. So
100%.
don't think that you're alone in whatever's going on. And the other thing is I know you guys are offering up some check-in Zoom calls shortly with people. Take that opportunity to talk to Matt and his team about how you are feeling about certain things, because I'm sure they'll be able to help you. But mate, thanks again for running this. I think it's a great thing.
Thanks heaps, Mark, for your words of wisdom. And, there's some really tangible ideas that people can start to work through to get through this process a bit easier. Thanks, mate.
Righto.